Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jennifer Diamond, and I'm a certified plant-based nutrition coach living a whole food, plant-exclusive, sos-free, gluten-free lifestyle for health and well-being. And it has literally changed my life, and it can help improve yours too. Today, I wanted to bring you along as I do a variation of the raw fruit tart. Let's do this. Yeah, so I recently did a recipe on a raw fruit tart, and the crust was made with mulberries, either dried or fresh. And I just know and have heard from people that sometimes they're either too expensive to get the dried ones or the fresh ones are not available. And so I decided to do a variation of a different crust in case that that is something that would better suit you. Also, another thing is that in the original recipe, there is all cashews in the filling. And some people are concerned with the amount of fat that are in cashews. And so I wanted to try to bring the fat content down by cutting the cashew amount in half and adding banana. And so we're gonna do this today. So I was in the middle of cutting open my Medjool dates, and I want to do that because I want to make sure that I get the pits out, and I have one left. And I store my Medjool dates in the freezer. I buy them in bulk at Costco, and they last indefinitely. So you saw that I obviously let this thaw, and it doesn't take long, maybe a minute or couple minutes, and I just cut into it. Sometimes I even use my fingers to tear it open, and then there's the pit. And I just want to make sure to take the pit out. Sometimes there's this little, I call it the button. And there's a little button on the top. And if yours has a little button, just make sure to take it off as well. And it just looks like that. And we don't want that either. And we're going to use our food processor. This is my Breville 16 cup, and I just love it. If you're in the market looking for one, check out the link below, and I will provide it so you can check it out. But anyways, I just also want to say, if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Come on, join the party. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. This way you'll be notified whenever I go live, anytime I post new videos. And if you enjoy my content, please give this a thumbs up. Ding, ding, ding. Also, if you've already subscribed, I always want to just let you know I really sincerely appreciate your subscription to my channel. If this is something that you're interested in, you have a question, you've done it before, you want to teach me something, well, go ahead and place a comment below and I'll get back to you. So I'm going to go ahead and start by plugging this in. Oh, and I do want to mention that I currently have the S-Blade. This machine comes with all these pieces in the back here, and so there's a lot to choose from, and I want to make sure that you know which piece I'm using. I'm using the S-Blade, and I use the S-Blade quite a bit. And also the grater feature is great. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and plug this in, and I am going to open up the lid. Now, one thing that's great about this lid is I could just pour it in this way. Actually, let's try it. So we're going to go ahead and put in our Medjool dates that you helped me take the pits out of. And then we're going to also work with some organic walnuts. Now, walnuts are a nut, of course, but I think they're a great substitute for the mulberries. And the thing is, they do contain oil. Walnuts are have some natural oils in them. So a couple things. We want to make sure that we don't pulse it, so much that all the oil really gets taken out, and not even pulse, but, just process it so much. So we're going to be careful with that. But another thing that would really help to absorb it is adding a little bit of oat flour, and you could even use almond flour, but I'm going to use oat flour today. And how did I get some oat flour? I just had these rolled oats, that we keep here in the house, and they're just regular, you know, a lot of people have these for breakfast. That's what they look like. They're pressed, and so they're ready to go. And then I just take my Vitamix. I have a dry mix container, and I go ahead and blend it in there, and it literally turns it into this flour. Look at that. Now, I'm not doing that with you today because I made this recently for a different recipe, the oat flour, and I had a little bit extra. And so I took one of these spice jars that I had and I put the extra in there. And since we're not using a lot, I'm ready to go. And so when you have extra, don't throw it out. Save it. So we're going to just go ahead and pour that right in there. And that is it, my friends. We're gonna get the party started. So let me put my ears on. I usually really like to wear these to protect my hearing when I use the Vitamix, but I've been using it with this too. The more protection, the merrier, right? So we're gonna turn it on and we're gonna go start. Oh my gosh, I do get excited about a good party, but I gotta tell you that I remembered, I told you don't overprocess, so don't overprocess, Jen. So let's check this out. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is looking good. I'm gonna unplug it. We're gonna check it together, and let's see if we know when it's ready to, stop. So I'm gonna take this out. Oh, you can see some of the flour didn't get processed all the way, but that's okay. What we want to do is we want to grab some of it and see if we squeeze it, if it will hold its shape. And it is holding its shape, which tells me that it is ready. If it was still crumbly and it wasn't holding its shape, I would say, go ahead and process it maybe with the pulse just a little bit longer. Now I'm gonna grab my favorite spatula and there's a little bit, see at the bottom here, that didn't process. And so what I'm gonna do, that's the oat flour, is just mix it in. It's pretty much mixed in. Well, I just wanna make sure. And that is the crust. Now, if you think that it is too oily feeling, or you're having trouble with it holding its shape, you can always add a little more of the oat flour. I put in 1.5 tablespoons. You can put in 2 tablespoons. And so just wanted you to know that. So now what I'm gonna do is move this out of the way and the base out of the way. And I'm also going to set the S blade aside because we don't want anyone to get hurt, as well as the crust. And what we're going to get ready to do now is mix up and create the filling. So let me grab the NutriBullet because that's what I'm going to use. You can certainly use your Vitamix or any other high-powered blender, but what you want to be able to do is make sure that it's going to give you a nice creamy texture. So stay tuned. I also wanted to grab my muffin tin, and so I'm going to put that back here because we are going to create the crust in the muffin tin. I have a silicone muffin tin. If you have like an aluminum one or any other kind, you can certainly use those little cupcake papers, and that will also help make it easier to remove at a later time. So for now, we're going to go ahead and get going in here. I'm going to start with some lemon juice, and I have a lemon that I cut up. Now the lemon juice, you can do half if you want, but I like the tartness, so I think I'm going to add the whole lemon. Each side equals usually about a tablespoon if you just had the juice. I really like this lemon press. It just simplifies things. It's easy on the grip. And it collects all the seeds. Now, I don't always use it. If you don't have one, you don't need one. You can use a fork. But this is always great. And see, it even collected some of the seeds. That makes life simple. And I'm going to go ahead and add the other side. Wow, this is a juicy lemon. Love some juicy lemon.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Now, the other thing that I haven't mentioned yet that I will mention is that we're going to be using cashews. Well, I mentioned it early, but I'm going to mention now. I've been soaking my cashews. If you are working with a blender, you know, you want to be working with something powerful enough to turn this into something that is creamy and smooth. So anytime you can or you have the time to soak it in some water, it will really help with that creaminess. I've been having these soaked for a very little amount of time, maybe 20 minutes. You can soak them up to overnight. Sometimes when you soak them for longer than a few hours, or maybe even up to 12 hours, I'm not exactly sure where this happens, but sometimes the color of the cashew will change from being soaked, and it's not really noticeable, but I do want to mention it. So I'm going to go ahead and drain these. These have been soaking, and we've cut the recipe in half from the original one in terms of the cashews, right? Because we were cutting down on the fat. So this is going to be 1 cup instead of 2. Let me rinse these. Okay, so I drained them and I rinsed them. I'm gonna let them sit there for just a minute. And so what are we gonna do in place of that? Well, I mentioned it earlier, we're gonna use a very ripe banana. This is a very ripe banana. You can tell because it's got a lot of these brown spots, and that tells me that all the sweetness has been able to come out of the banana. And because we're not using traditional sugar or anything like that as a sweetener, you want the fruit and the dates to be your sweetener. And so the riper the banana, the sweeter the finished product. And so you could tear it this way like we all do, or you could do it like the monkeys upside down. Either way, you just want to get into your banana and peel it just like I'm doing. And, you know, I never watched a banana. I mean, I never watched a monkey peel a banana like that, but that's what I've heard. And so I, thought, well, it sounds realistic. So that's what I do. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to cut up the banana. Medium to large banana will work fine. And it will give it a slightly little bit of a different flavor because banana has a very strong flavor on its own. And now we're going to go ahead and add our drained cashew nuts. Just want to make sure I didn't spill anything. And we're also going to add more dates. Yes, and I have not pitted these, so let's do that together. I'm just literally pushing them open, taking the pit out, making sure there's no little guy at the top there. Little button, as I call it. And we are going to just put 3 of these guys in here because we want this to be nice and sweet. The next thing we're going to add is a little bit of vanilla bean powder. Now, on the other recipe, I really prefer to use vanilla bean. I love vanilla bean, but I didn't have any this time, so I'm going with the next best thing that I think, and that is just a little bit of vanilla bean powder. This is 1/8 of a teaspoon. If you're using a regular vanilla bean, you're gonna wanna cut it down the middle and scrape out about half of it, and that should do it. Plop, right in there it goes. And then the last thing we're gonna use is just a little bit of water. I've got a 1/4 cup of water. You can start with half of the amount and go from there, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and add the whole thing, and we are gonna blend this up, and then we're gonna have our filling. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Let me plug it in. And I like to use the NutriBullet for these smaller amounts just because my Vitamix bottom base is very wide, and sometimes if I don't have enough ingredients, it doesn't really process well. But if you're doubling this or tripling this, wow, and you have a Vitamix, I'd say use that because it'll get it nice and creamy. So this looks really good. I can see that there's some little bits in here, if you can see that. And so I could scrape it down and mix it up more, but I might just mix it by hand. And so what I want to do now is open this up and just let's take a quick peek. Yeah, I've been working out. I can open that. I used to have to call my husband. Husband, can you open that? Look at this. Look at this. That is what we're looking for. Nice and creamy. Smells good too. So let me move this out of the way. And now we're gonna bring our cupcake container back here. And we're basically going to grab the walnuts and we're gonna create a base. So this is really fun to do. You can use your plain hands. You can use a melon ball scooper, which I love. Let me grab it. I just like it because it gives me a way to measure a little bit, and I'm just gonna plop. Let's just try one and make sure that it's the right consistency. And what I'm doing is I just plopped one scoop and I am pushing down at the bottom and I'm just kind of shaping it. And I want it to go not just at the bottom, but if I can, a little bit up so that when I push from the bottom and take the cupcake or this little fruit tart out, you might be able to see it coming up the side, and that is always really nice. So take a moment, take your time. If you feel like it's too thin, well, go ahead and add a little more. There's no real rule, it's just what you enjoy and also how many you need to make. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do like a scoop, a very hefty scoop, yeah, per little tart. Now these aren't very sticky because we added the oat flour. It really helped it. And if you find, you know, that you want it to be a little bit more sticky, a little bit less oat flour is all you need to do to change that up. And this is gonna be great. You really wanna pack it in as well as you can. And these are really fun to make with people. I always enjoy baking with you or making things with you, as well as my family or friends. It's fun to get others in the kitchen. But it's also very meditative, I should say, if I do it by myself. I usually have Remy here to help. And I don't know if you could hear him, but he is outside next to me just enjoying the fresh air. And so there we go. Now you can see this is what our crust looks like. Very, very good, ready to go. And now we're gonna go back to our cream filling. And I'm gonna get this other beautiful spatula. I love a good spatula. I'm gonna get this one out. This one is from Vitamix. You look at this, I love it because it's got that little crooked piece at the bottom, and so it's really good for fitting underneath the blades. But with the NutriBullet, what I found is that it's really good at scraping down the sides because the inside is not completely flat, and I really like that because then I can get all the goodies. Who wants to leave it? You know, you make it, and then who wants to leave it all in the jar you spun it in? Not me. I like to get all the goodies out that I can. So I'm starting just with the bottom here, which is not glamorous, but it really does collect a lot, and I want to get all that we can. All right. And I might even at the end go back and get a little bit more, but we'll start with what we have here, and we'll come back and finish cleaning that up. But you can see that if I go around and then I turn this so that the hook is facing towards this inside of the cup, and I just push it down on all of them except one. And there's this little like lip in there, so I go around the lip. And I'm just gonna do that. And this way it'll be much easier for me to pour it out. Now, why do I leave one of them? Well, because I still have to pour it out. So I'm gonna go ahead. You know, you still have to scoop it out of here, so then that's what I'm talking about. Hopefully that is very clear. I'm looking for... So you can use a melon baller and just scoop them just like that. Look at this. If you don't have a melon baller, go ahead and use a spoon. Don't get all crazy just because you don't have a tool. it really doesn't matter. It's just nice, you know? It's like a convenient extra bonus thing, but in the end, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you have fun and you're eating something or sharing with others something that isn't going to harm us or you or me or anyone. And that's the part that I get excited about. And this is really looking good. Look at this. Now, if this seems too creamy to you or too liquidy, you could back off on that water, because with the banana has a lot of, you know, natural moisture in it. And so now I'm just going to go back here, take my spatula again, and just get the rest of this out. And that we are almost done. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to rinse off some berries, but I want it to set first. So I'm going to put it in the freezer, and then we'll come back and we'll put the berries on it. Okay, so I'm back, and it's been a few hours. I just took these out of the freezer. You can see that they are holding their form and their shape. And so if I'm going to serve these, I don't want to let them go all the way to room temperature, because then they might get gooey. So I would just want to take them out maybe for 30 minutes or so if they're frozen, and then you can put them out. There we go. Look at this. So you can see that it's holding its shape. It looks really good. I'm going to put it right here on the plate. And it is a little crummy. It is a little bit crumbly. So that tells me that maybe I could have put a little bit less of the oat flour in there, but you know, it's kind of something that you need to just kind of play with. And so you can either put the fruit on here, or you can pop them out and then put the fruit on. And so I am going to maybe pull out another one of these. There we go. Look at that. That looks great. And if there are a little bit of crumbs at the bottom, well, you could sprinkle them on top like this and make it part of the decoration. But I just want to show you some ideas of things that you can do. So in here, I had some frozen mango. I went ahead and thawed it out and then sliced it up because it was these bigger chunks. I also have some fresh berries. You can use frozen berries. I have raspberries here and blueberries. You can use any berries at all that you want. And I even have a banana, because to do the filling, we added banana. So banana would be a great flavor. And then what you can do is you can cut these up or use them whole. And I'll do a little bit of both. And then you just decorate, and that's it. So I'm going to just put these on like that for my decor. I'm making kind of these triangle shapes, and I'm just going to take them all the way around the blueberry. Whoops. There you go. So that's one idea. You could also do this raspberry I'm going to take out, and I might just cut it into little strips, or like a little tiny piece here I can put in that one, right? And so you get the idea, and you just have fun. You can make them all the same, you can make them all different. Look at this. This is fun stuff. So you get the idea, and you can refreeze these. So if you don't have them all, you can put them back in the freezer. They're very forgiving. Just the idea is to have fun. And so there you go. And I hope that you try these, give these a try. I hope that you enjoy sharing them with others. And just know that this isn't going to harm. You can use this to share at any kind of potlucks or family celebrations, holidays, and so on. So don't forget to eat your greens and give plants a chance. And if you'd like to reach out to me directly, you can reach me on my website at thejennifferdiamond.com. Until next time, everyone, we'll see you soon. Bye for now.